All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. This is number 213 of 365, and it's called 1460 on an SAT Changed a Life. And I start in 5. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I hope that you're doing well, and I hope that wherever you are is doing good for you. It's me, it's Paul Carpenter, and this one is number 213, almost, 213 of 365, and this one's called 1460 on an SAT Changed a Life. And it goes something like this. I heard this story recently as a video, like one of these little videos you see on TikTok. And I was like, wow, that's a really good story, and I really want to tell that story, so I'm going to tell that story. And it goes something like this. There's a kid, and he doesn't do very good in school. He's actually doing pretty bad. He's making some bad grades, and he's about to graduate high school, but he's, like, about to get kicked out of high school because it's really that bad. Like, he's that bad. Like, kid just can't get it. But he promises his mom that he's going to take the SATs. And he goes, and he goes to the day of the SATs, and he takes the SATs. And like whatever, a week later, 2 weeks later, he gets the score back. And the score comes back as a 1460. And so he goes back to his mom, and he's like, holy crap, I got a 1460 out of 1600. And his mom's like, did you cheat? He's like, Mom, I tried. And she's like, you swear you didn't cheat? And I was like, Mom, I swear I didn't cheat. And it was this moment for him, you know, where his whole life he had been told he was dumb, that he was a stupid guy, and he was never going to get anywhere. And then all of a sudden, this test comes in that proved everybody wrong. And so he starts doing stuff. Let's make the end of the story short. He ends up having a business and making millions of dollars and being successful and all that good stuff and helping his community and all the things that are supposed to be positive for a person who's wealthy and has a wealthy mindset. And so this guy is a pillar of his community and this, that, and the other. And so it's like 30-something years later from the time that he had gotten this letter when he was told he was a loser. And he had made this amazing stride in his life. And so a letter comes in the mail from the school district that says 30-some-odd years before, the school district had made a mistake and sent him the wrong SAT score. And that his real SAT score was a 740. And and so he immediately was like, that's alright. You know, like, that had nothing to really do with it in the end. Right? What really had to do with it was that and he says this, he goes, what really changed for me wasn't the score. It was when I started acting like the score. And I've talked about this before. It's like, whatever you are, you are. Like, if you are a person with no arms and no legs, you're a person with no arms and no legs. But that doesn't mean that you are restricted to being a person with no arms and no legs. That's just a mental prison. It's a physical prison that you've been put in. But that doesn't stop you from living. That doesn't stop you from skydiving. That doesn't stop you from swimming with freaking sharks in the ocean. Okay, sure, you might need some help. Sure, you might have somebody with you. But that doesn't mean you're not doing it. And that's the kicker. It's that, okay, he's not a perfect 10 body with the butter and the good-looking hair and the blue eyes, whatever the perfect is for the person that you think perfect is, right? He's not that. He's a person with no arms and no legs. But he's living like he is a person with arms and legs. And he's doing it at that level. And so that's the story. He might be a 740. He might be a dumb guy. But when he starts thinking and being like the guy who's a 1460, he has no other option but to better himself and be a better person. So in the end, what it really means is that all we need to do, and this is something that Matthew McConaughey does that I love. It was a beautiful speech that he gave when he won an Oscar, and he talks about the guy 10 years in front of him, and this lady talks to him and comes back to him and goes, who's the guy 10 years in front of you? And he says, it's me. I look up to myself 10 years in front of me because there's this golden god of a human being that I want to be 10 years from now. And so 10 years later, the lady goes, so did you meet up with your guy, the one that you wanted to be cool with? It was like super badass. And he's like, oh, fuck no. I failed miserably. But there's another version of me that's super badass, and he's in the future, and I'm rushing towards him. And that's like the video that I made a couple videos ago, which is like, you make me so happy. It's like you're the one who does it. You're the me, right? And so like, you make me happy. I make me happy. I do it for me, for you. I make these videos for me, for you. I've said that 1,000 bajillion times. And I really do. I make them for me. These are like little mementos of my life, of my mindset, of my where, of being, of thought, of everything. And I'm just trying to be as raw and honest and pure in the thoughts as I go and regurgitate these things that I'm trying to grab from all over the place while I'm thinking about this idea that we started off with in the beginning, which is this kid who didn't have it all, who was told that he was nothing his whole life, who was whatever, and it was one thing, one small insignificant thing, a paper from a school that said that he wasn't dumb. There was a mistake that changed his way of thinking. So what does that really mean? It's that it's not the dumb thing, it's not the piece of paper, it wasn't the school score, it was the mindset change that he chose because of the thing. So then guess what? Choose whatever you want. Choose anything. You can say the lighter. The lighter turns on. Ah, fuck. Ah, I gotta go. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be like weird or silly but it's true. It can be you can literally choose anything to be like, oh, that's my thing. And people will look at you and be like, dude, that's the weirdest thing in the world that you've chosen. And I know that you know somebody that has like a Lucky Charm or a thing or something that just makes them a little different or weird, and it's their thing and it means something to them. And it's just the most, that's just a stick, Paul. That's not a stick. That stick has taken me through the mountains of Greece, you know? But you see what I'm saying, right? You see, it could be anything. I was talking to this kid that I met when he was 16 years old, and we were in an airport, and I was stuck in customs, and he was stuck in customs with the two of us. Just two little kids, white kids, stuck in customs in London. And there's all these people walking by us, because, like, literally, they're just going through and everything's cool for them, and we're just stuck in the pattern, and we're like, we're just looking at us like we must have been caught for our drug dealing or something. So then I look at the kid, because we're there for like 30 minutes, I'm like, I do magic, you want to see some magic? I was like, fuck yeah, I want to see magic. So like 2 hours go by, and you can only do magic for so long until you start teaching magic, and then I teach the kid magic. I give him some robes. He's like, oh, thank you for the robes, man. And over the years, the kid's kept up with me, right? So he goes from learning the robes to, like, performing in his school's, whatever, where people sing and do stuff. I don't know what it's called. Contest. You know, one of those things in school. You know, those things. And then he goes from there. He starts to go to school in Edinburgh. And there's it's called the Royal Mile. It's a very famous place where a lot of street performers perform all over the world. And he's there, and he's starting to do shows, and he's like thanking me. And I was like, you know, you can't, talent show. Thank you, Betty. And good morning, Hollis. Good morning, I love you, Mushy Pantses. And so, he was thanking me. He was like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. You were the inspiration. And I was like, yeah. I mean, maybe I was a moment, right? And I said the same thing to him. I was like, maybe I was a moment, but I could have been a moment in your life that was forgetful. Like so many other moments in your life that have been forgotten. There were cool moments, like, are really cool, like, and you're like, oh God, I'll never forget this moment. You totally fucking forgot the moment. And then there's other moments, like people, I've said this a million times, but like you'll be walking down the street, you'll be in your head, right? You'll be like having this day, or whatever it is, right? You're like, I'm such a bad person, or the world, whatever, any of those ideas. I go through them, you go through them, we all go through them. And so you could be there in that headspace, and then you're just walking down the street in your headspace, and then people are having a conversation in front of you. And as they're walking by, because the beep beeps and the ding dings of life are so freaking weird, they will say something in their conversation that has absolutely nothing to do with you. And it just goes, and you're like, right? And then you're just like, oh. And then that frame of thought, that whole thing that happened, just bloop. And you're like, I can't be that. I can't be in this, and I can't da-da-da-da. And then all of a sudden you're like, and your walk changes, and your mindset changes, and your heartbeat changes over somebody else's phone call or somebody else's conversation. Like, how random is that? And then if that's how random it is, then literally, like I said, it's a lighter. Hold on, let me go get it again. It lights up. That's powerful. Makes fire. I can stay warm. I mean, whatever. You can. You know what I'm saying, right? So, like, if it's such a thing where at any point in time, anything can be the thing that goes, that gets you to go, then that means anything can be your get-to-go juice. Literally anything can be your get-to-go juice. So, with that, my friends, if you would not mind, please go out into the world and do something nice for somebody else. And if you can't, do something nice for yourself. It does start with you, like a bubble bath or a Snickers, because maybe you're hangry. And number 2, don't get caught up in all the crazy blah blah blahs and boo boos and this guy and that guy and the hers and the he's and the oohs and the whats and the hows and the. See how it happens is you get all tied up and you start getting all constricted, and it feels very, very, very unhappy. You see, this is not a happy position to be in. Very constricted. And I can't really say hello. Like, if I want to shake hands, it'll look weird. My point being is that don't get caught up in all the crazy stuff. And number 3, please like, share, subscribe. Send this out to somebody who would like to see it. I don't care who. Doesn't matter. Like, just hit like buttons and share buttons and just share it to different groups and media sources and places and tell people, hey, I know this really crazy guy in the morning. He does this stuff. Oh, and by the way, I've been on this new thing called Clubhouse, and I'm doing a hypnosis thing today, which I'm very excited about, as you can tell. So if you would like to join the Clubhouse groupie thingy, there's down below on my profile. That would be on Facebook, not on the YouTube, just because I repost this on YouTube. By the way, that's the end of the video. I want to say thank you for taking your time and energy to hang out with me here at the thing, the box, the black box, the monolith from 2001 Space Odyssey. That's what this thing is. It's the black box from the Space Odyssey thing. It's just, you know. Oh, please do me a favor. Take a deep breath. Kind of cool, even if I just, because I don't usually do the whole like I'm all over the place. So it's nice to take a deep breath every once in a while, you know. Just take a nice deep breath, breathe in all the good air, and then push out all the negativity and all the negative thoughts and negative world views and negative mindsets and negative blahs that come out of your mouth, or even the ones that are inside your head. And when they do pop up, my friends, and they will, because it's just natural that your body farts, you know, and so your mind farts sometimes too. So sometimes what we do is we capture our farts, we capture our mind farts, and they get stinky if you keep them in your head. So what you have to do is release the mind farts. I just thought about it. I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be dead. You know, it's gonna be 100 years from now. Somebody will come across one of these weird videos. They'll be like, "Have you ever heard of this weird mentally hip guy?" Like, "Oh yeah, have you ever heard the mind fart video?" Okay, alright, with that, my friends, I really appreciate you, and I love you, and I thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you, Hollis, thank you, Betty, for staying here, because with other people here, believe it or not, it's weird, but when people are watching, there's more of a weird thing. When you see the little likes, or when you see somebody say something, or when you see somebody try to pop in, it gives you an energy to kind of keep going and want to keep talking and almost want to keep that frivolity alive, right? Because the whole idea of this is to hopefully inspire the mind, keep the heart young, and also, you know, keep yourself a little happy in this world that's sometimes rough. I love you. I love you all so very much. I will see you all on the other side.